Hello and welcome to the Bot Signal. My name is RJ Redden, and entrepreneurs hire me to set fire to marketing practices that are no longer working for them. Because a lot of folks can't get on noticed online to save their lives, and so I create marketing messages through Messenger that connect people, build relationships, and close deals. So I'm glad you're here. You know I'm glad you're here. And if you actually are not on the Black Belt Bots page, do go to the link in the top of the post. I cross post in several places, so this is how people find me. If you want me to see and answer all of your questions, which I deeply want to do, click the link in the top of the post, and that will bring you right to the Black Belt Bots page. You will miss nothing. I promise you. Today, I'm actually going to respond to a question that one of my favorite audience members, one of my loved ones who comes to the show repeatedly, she's asked this a good couple of times. And so I wanted to do an entire episode about B2B. Yes, business to business. How do messenger bots help you get in front of businesses, get some new eyeballs, and pitch your stuff, get the business, and then help in the processes after you're hired? So I'm going to do a little show on that. I see Teresa has already made a comment. This is what I need. It's on my to-do list. I'm so grateful to be on your to-do list. That's a wonderful thing. If you're here, say hello. I will say hello back. So a lot of the things that I'm talking about today, I've also kind of talked about on some previous episodes. So if you run into something that you want to hear in depth, I may have already covered it. So the opportunities will abound, obviously, but we kind of talk about business to business relationships all the time. We talk about using bots for B2B, but we kind of in the context of when businesses are solopreneurs. What if your business wants to get in front of slightly bigger businesses, businesses of maybe 10 employees or more? Or what if your target demographic has, maybe it's financial, maybe you want them to be doing so much business a year before then they're in your sweet spot in your target market. So we're going to be talking today really about B2B. B to a little bit bigger business. So if you are the type of business who needs to kind of get in front of some bigger businesses, the show's for you today. Very good. So happy you guys are here today. So first thing that every business can do no matter what, Facebook ads that run to a freebie that run right to your bot. Now, this is something I haven't talked about too often because I don't have Facebook ads expertise. So, I don't want to lead people on. I mean, I can certainly hook your bot to an ad, but as for writing an ad for you, no. Targeting that thing, Facebook ads interface gives me heart palpitations. So no. But certainly if you do have somebody who writes those ads for you, then I have a way to hook that directly to your messenger bot. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. When people click on the ad, Messenger pops up right away. If they click on their phone, Messenger will pop up over the ad. And if you are able to get someone to click a button in that ad, then they are connected to your message, your story, and a description of your products and services. That'll work for anything. Sarah Fox says, RJ Redden says, tip number 1, use a Facebook ad that turns into a freebie lead magnet that leads to your bot. Oh yeah, absolutely. Doing this one for you today, Sarah. I went over your website, actually. Sarah does contract helping people understand construction contracts, and so I kind of to get some insight into some of the B2B stuff. I actually went over your website stuff. So hopefully this is interesting to you today. Adam is here. He has not been washed away by rain. Everyone, Adam has survived. Allow the party to begin. Okay, very good. So Facebook adds to a freebie, any business of any size, anybody that you need to get in front of, they're all clicking ads. And so that one's pretty tried and true process. So another thing that you can do is, of course, if you are a person who does speaking gigs, if you're a person who gets up on a stage and talks to people and finds leads through that process and finds connections through that process, there are ways to use a chatbot to strengthen that connection, to make that connection a little bit quicker before, during, and after the talk that you give on stage. That will lead you to more relationships and getting in front of more people, no matter what the company size that you're going after right now. So there are some things, and this is I did a show on this a little while back that's a little bit more in depth, but I'll just say that you can, with the speaking gig, of course, you can invite your own crowd to attend. Anybody who is already in your chatbot following you, you're getting your news and updates and all of that type of thing, inviting them to join you, especially if it's local, a really nice thing to do. You can also get input and get some Q&As in there that are pre-planted. So say I'm going to be giving a talk here in Omaha, Nebraska in about a week. Some of you are in Omaha, or surrounding areas. So I would say to my crowd, okay, going to be speaking in about a week. Would love to see you all there. And if I were to see you there, what kind of topics would you like to hear? And are there any questions that I can answer specifically in this talk? This talk is going to be about, well, if we're using me as an example, we're going to say bots. So I'll be able to get some of those things kind of ahead of time. That's really helpful. Sometimes, and it depends on the event and the event organizer. Sometimes the event organizers are willing to, maybe send out something on your behalf for people who are attending the event already, people who have tickets to get subscribed to it so that they can ask you questions and talk about topics as well. That's always a really great thing to do. But sometimes event organizers, it depends on the event, but sometimes they have particular rules around that, and you absolutely don't want to go around that. But it is a great thing to do if you can get it done. I'm going to read some comments here. Barbara's here. Hey, Barbara. If you're a speaker or a trainer, we'll get to workshops next. And workshops are great for chatbots. So very good. Very good. So inviting your crowd, inviting the people who are registered for the conference. And you can, if event organizers are like, I don't want to give you people's emails, they don't have to, you can just give them some copy, give them a link for people to join your chatbot and give that all to the event organizer, let them send it out. You don't need to see email addresses, all that kind of stuff. So here is, and here's something that I did from the stage in Phoenix, worked really, really well during the talk that I gave there about chatbots. I just had everybody get into the chatbot while I was standing on stage. I have, just something in my business. Explaining how a chatbot works is a little difficult if you haven't been exposed to one before, because it's kind of like weird. It's like, well, now a business is giving me automated messages. We're burned out on automated messaging, people. We are burned out. We don't want to hear it. And the minute you say that, people are like, what does that mean? But if I can have my people get their hands on what that interaction is going to be like, so much the better for me. Also, You're probably the same. If you could get someone's hands on the process that you go through, if you could show them, demonstrate your products and services in a way that really helps you kind of stick in people's minds, and if you can do it while you're standing on stage, then all you have to do is say, hey, go to blah blah blah.com and see what I mean. That was a really powerful thing. Now, here's a caution: Wi-Fi doesn't always work. I had some people who were not easily able to get on, but I just directed them toward where I was going to be standing at my table, after, during the lunch break or whatever. So it worked out, but don't, know that sometimes conference Wi-Fi is not all that super great, and that you'll probably be helping a couple of people get on there a little later on. So note of caution. Okay, let's see. I'm going to catch up on Sarah's comment here. RJ Redden says, if you're a speaker or trainer, you can use chatbot to strengthen the audience connection before, during, and after. Tell me more. Okay, I love it when people are able to experience asking me questions in the bot. Some questions are a little bit outside the run. Some questions are a little weird. If you've stood on stage before, and by your website you have, if you've stood on stage before, you kind of get the regular run of the mill questions, and then you get the left field every once in a while. So in the bot example that I was giving out in this talk, I had some frequently asked questions stuff programmed in there, so that even while I was standing on stage, people were asking my bot questions and getting answers for those questions. Now, the answers are pretty general. That's absolutely the truth. But every time people ask a question and get an answer quickly, know, like, and trust is notched up just a little bit. You also want to plan for the left field questions. Those left field questions, when people ask something that's outside of the regular run of the bot, or I don't have a keyword set up to listen for that particular question or that particular word, then the bot does summon me. So what happened at this conference that I went to is that I would go around and help people that had those questions. They were all I was sponsoring, so I had a table and they were all kind of standing around there. But the folks that had questions that were a little bit more difficult, I had a chance to answer, because my bot is immediately after the question is asked, come back and says, okay, so I've just summoned RJ, and you can find her back at her table, and she will help you with that. Meanwhile, do you want to take a look at this, video playlist, or, you can give them, it's basically the equivalent of giving them a magazine in a waiting room. Give them something else to look at while you're getting to that question. That way, you can answer the left field stuff, but you can also answer kind of those run-of-the-mill questions when people want to interact with you through the bot, which they will. Very good. So use your chat bot to invite your crowd to attend. Ask questions before to gauge their needs. Can also do the pre-planned question thing. And that's really nice. Not everybody wants to get up in front of a microphone, but those people's questions can still be useful to you. And those questions sometimes absolutely need to be asked. So pre kind of, casting the net for good Q&A questions to answer during your talk. And then using a couple of those while people are getting up to microphones, it's an excellent tactic. So very good. Adam says, with bots, can you send to locals near your event an invite to a meetup? Oh, absolutely, you can. So that is accomplished a lot through tagging where people are from. So Facebook doesn't give you that information, and neither do you want it, right? I mean, Facebook will give me a person's first name, last name, time zone. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting a time zone. So in the central time zone is pretty big. It's not just Omaha. So when I want to do local events and things like that, what I'll do is I'll put a broadcast out to everybody in the bot and say, hey, do you live in the area, or are you going to be in the area of Omaha, on whatever date it is? And then the folks that answer yes, I'll go ahead and extend that invitation. And the folks that answer no, I'll say, okay, super sweet. I won't bother you with information about events that are, local to me anymore. And then give them a nice little, emoji or something. So that is exactly how I would do that, Adam. Is Facebook's not going to give you that information, nor do you really want it. You have to find out. So just ask them the question. And then everybody who hits that yes, I'm going to be in or around Omaha on the September 18th at 7:00, you can attach a little tag there that says local. So that next time you have a local event, you can broadcast to those local people again. Or if you've gotten a lot more people into the bot, you can broadcast to the new people that question, and then set up a broadcast to everybody with a local tag. I hope that was helpful. That may have gotten a little technical and complicated, but let me know if that wasn't super clear. Very good. Adam says, another question. Should a dentist office use bots to give their patients specific info? Okay, are we talking about specific, like, I wouldn't ever, protected info, I would never ever, health info, I wouldn't distribute that in a bot. What I would do if I were a dentist office and I was using bots to connect with patients, I would send them information about, reminder your next checkup is coming, or a reminder you need to make an appointment for your next checkup. That's the email I get. I would send out real general information through the bot, and I would keep it at that, because you just don't, as far as I know, and I don't know anything about HIPAA regulations and stuff like that, but I would give patients just real general info. I would give them a message if I had info that I needed to give somebody, and it was protected info. I would just send them a message and say, hey, your info is right here, and if you would like to give us a call, come, I would love to talk to you about it. That kind of thing. You never want to, you don't want to mess with information these days. It's bad. Very bad. Okay, very good. Sarah says, RJ suggests inviting them into your chatbot to demonstrate your products and services while you're on stage, subject to Wi-Fi. Boy, that was awesome. It was an awesome experience. People were thrilled with it, being the ability to ask me questions while I was standing ask my bot questions while I was standing on stage. Okay, very good. Yeah, left field. The bot can summon you. That's a powerful thing. Questions can build your knowledge of what people need from you, not what you want to sell them. It's true, when constructing a talk too, and I know that some folks do this a lot. When constructing a talk, I want to talk right to what you want to know. I don't want to, create basically a live webinar. I mean, that's for the birds, right? I want to speak to what you want to know. And I want to talk about what your pain points might be. I don't want to construct some canned, something I think is fabulous, because, people will tune out for those kinds of things. I've experienced the tune out. Very good. 7:15 for me, 15 in the UK. Yeah. You are 7 hours away, I think. For the yes people, you can have a sub list group to chat or organize that meetup. Oh, absolutely. And you could take everybody, this is back to the local tag, right? If you wanted to find out if people are local to you and want to be invited to local events, you could absolutely, do a Facebook group really quick and say to everybody, hey, do you want to be invited to our Facebook group to arrange shared rooms, rides, whatever it is. That'd be a perfect way to get people in, integrated into that event. Teresa says, I'm working on filling a new camp. I would love to use the bot as part of that. And you shall, Grasshopper. It shall be done. Very good. Right. Or how to properly brush your teeth. Yeah, this is the dentist's office question again. Keeping in touch with people, you want to send them valuable information. You want to send them either the information itself or the context of it needs to be something that is valuable to them and possibly unique. The information on how to properly brush your teeth. I have a different situation with that. I have this a person who wants me to be their real estate agent. Now, we're not selling this house anytime soon, but I get things in the mail and I get things in the email and all of that kind of stuff, and I imagine that this person is doing it to keep on top of mind. I get it. That's what we're all taught, and that's what happens. But if it's super general information that I could get anywhere else, perhaps by just hitting it up online, I kind of feel like it's, when I get that stuff in the mail, I kind of feel like it's clutter, but when I get something that is a little bit more tailored to things that I'm interested in. So the dentist's office, I'm going to have to think about that case, and maybe kind of build a case around that. There's also somebody I'd like to talk to. Brad Friedman is a marketing guy who also has quite a bit of instruction in the law, and I would love to chat with him about that too and get his perspective, because what kind of information do we send out? You wouldn't want to send the general stuff all the time, because people sometimes look at that and go, okay, how does that apply to me though? You know what I mean? So let me get back to that dentist office example as well. Let's see. Doesn't suggest giving advice or guidance through a bot, perhaps a link to a blog on how often should you see the dentist. That's a good one. I would never, I would never give the health information type stuff out. That, hey, your x-rays say no. Don't do that. Very good. Amanda says you could have a path for sensitive teeth people, gingivitis, as in self-disclosed conditions and tips for managing them. That would be fantastic. Okay, so because the kinds of things you're mentioning here, if people are self-disclosing that, or if, say, a dentist, examines a patient and says, hey, you've got, this condition or whatever, would you mind if I sent you out some information that will help you manage the condition over time? That's valuable. That's valuable stuff. And you're standing in the office asking their permission. They can say no. And if they say yes, then they'll get tips and tricks. Not, here's a sheet of paper that you're going to fold up and you're going to put it in your pocket or your pocket accessory, a bag of some kind. And if it's in your pocket, it's probably going to get washed. And if it's in a bag of some kind, you're probably going to run into it 6 months and go, oh, that's right. For me, those pieces of paper are not super useful, especially when I'm giving people a ton of information when they would really be better served by, especially if it's a condition that isn't cured overnight, they're better served by a little bit of information, just a little ping this month, a little ping next month, a little ping next month. And then the ping that says, hey, it's time to come in again and get that checked out. That, my friends, that would make me feel cared for and loved. That would make me feel like somebody had thought, okay, this isn't an overnight cure condition, so I'm going to help them manage it over time. Here's how I'm going to do it. That would be the Disneyland experience for me. Okay, very good. More comments. I'm catching up, people. I really am. Sarah says, talk right to the audience's needs by finding out what your audience's pain points are and find these with a bot. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Market research used to be so difficult for me, going, on the internet and trying to find, okay, who's written something on this and who's written something legitimate on this, because that's a thing on the internet. How are people talking about this problem? All of that kind of stuff. All of that was such a mystery before I had a bot, because I'm guessing, when I have a bot, I can just ask people, what do you think of this? What's your idea on this? Hey, I have this idea. Do you have any input? I can start a conversation with somebody as a way to engage them back with my stuff. And at the same time, provide back a little bit of value to them. Because after folks have given me their opinion, then I can say, hey, is there anything I can help you with? And maybe I can point them to a resource. Give and take situation. Bots are a give and take. That's why I love them so much. Dale Garza says hello, and I say hello back, Dale Garza. Welcome to the show. Sarah says either the info or the context needs to be valuable or unique. Absolutely. Think about it like this. Think about the info itself is like a person sitting on a couch. The context is the couch. How do you frame that information? How do you couch that information in something that relates to a problem that someone needs solved, or something like that? How can you surround the information with little hooks to give it context and to draw people in? Okay, very good. Don't use your chatbot for clutter. It's not a trash bot. That's it. I'm gonna have to frame that comment. I'm gonna print it out and I'm gonna frame it and I'm gonna put it on my wall. It ain't a trash bot. Very good. Trickle of tips, then the chatbot would work. So absolutely. This is what I mean when I say that chatbots are a long game. They're the long game of helping people over time. Here's the problem with being such an information society and having it so available to us, is that we have people who are good-hearted, lovely, awesome people who want to get your attention so badly that they'll fire hose you with the information. When you work in a more complicated industry, or when you have a problem that cannot be solved overnight, then a chatbot is perfect, because it can teach you a little bit consistently over a long period of time. That is easier for the brain to absorb. It is easier for people to say to themselves, you know what, I am going to take action on that thing because it's only a 5-minute job today. It helps people create good habits. In the case of the dentist and the gingivitis, right? I'm not super familiar with gingivitis, but I do know that good teeth brushing and flossing habits probably would make an effect. So, getting good habits around that thing that you deal with is super important and can help people manage themselves. People don't. Kim Boltzmann talks about this a lot. She's the SEO queen, and she talks about you don't always want to present yourself as the hero for somebody else, because that creates kind of a dependent relationship, and people aren't necessarily jump into those with people they meet on the internet. Not always. And what you do want to do is present it in the opposite light and help people feel like they are their own heroes. Sometimes in some businesses, that will empower people to take a next step and a next step and a next step. And if you were there along that ride, if you were in the front row for that, then that is, that's a connection that people will remember. So if you can empower people to do things like that, and little bits of information over time that allow people to take back control of whatever situation is bothering them, especially if you're a life coach or something like that, absolutely be all over that. And that is how certainly a chatbot can help you do it. Brad Friedman heard me summoning him. He heard it. Brad, we're going to have to talk about chatbots in dentist offices in our next chat. So very good. Okay. So so for speaking gigs, let me sum up, and then we'll move on to workshops. Speaking gigs, inviting your crowd, inviting some of the crowd that's already registered if your conference organizer is amenable to that. And all you have to do is have a paragraph of cut and paste copy and a link to join your bot. Getting topic input and Q&A from the people inside your chatbot who have subscribed. And follow-up connections and follow-up offers. So follow-up materials for that matter. Did you give a PowerPoint during your speech? Do you want to give that to people? Did you make an offer from the stage for your talk? You can put that right in the bot. And again, with the example that I did a couple weeks ago, people got in the bot. I gave them a really easy link, Bam Pow Bot. Very easy to spell, easy to remember. It's 3 words. They got into that, and then I said, listen, I've got a class, which actually is my class is on Thursday night. I've got a class coming up where I'm going to teach you, everything about how to set up your bot and set up a reminder bot and do these things. All you have to do is type in the secret word, and you will get access to the class. So there was an offer. People got in and typed the word for the offer, and then now they're in the class on Thursday. So how could you use that if you were speaking on stage? How could you use that to get more people to maybe a workshop that you're holding, a live event or an online event? Follow-up offers are really awesome stuff, because then you can take that moment to kind of talk to people, start conversations with them, and kind of start their journey through your chatbot. Okay. Aaron Strayer says hello. Hey, hello. How are you, Aaron Strayer? Good to see you. Very good. So follow-up materials or offers from the stage, very, very easy to do with your chatbot. And again, what this prevents is at the end of the talk, right? If things have gone well and you've done a great job, which obviously all of you absolutely do, then there are people that are kind of, hopefully waiting to talk to you. And the biggest frustration that I've had in the past, and that other speakers I know have had in the past, is, man, you work your butt off to get these speaking gigs, and then, you do a good job and people want to talk to you, but there's a next speaker coming in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is, and you've got to cycle real fast through these people or try to take them out of the room, which not all conference organizers love that kind of behavior. So how are you going to talk to them all? The answer is for me, I use a chatbot so that I can go back 12 hours later, a day later, and say, hey, thank you for attending. I'm so glad you're in the audience. Do you have any more questions for me? That releases the pressure of having to get through everybody all at once that you desperately wanted to talk to anyway. That's why you came. So follow-up connections, follow-up offers are good stuff. Now let's move to some events and workshops. So longer than a speaking gig. Can leap buildings in a single bound is the next thing I wanted to say. So events and workshops, supplemental materials for events and workshops are really great in a bot. And so if you are teaching, I know Sarah teaches about about contracts and being able to negotiate contracts, being able to write and sign these things and understand what's going on with them. So if there are supplemental materials like extra audio files, PDFs, if there are videos, if there's, all of these types of things, PowerPoints as well, if you want to give your PowerPoint to folks, case studies, whatever you want, you can put all of those types of media inside a bot for delivery. Now, some audio files and some video files too big, so you do have to link out, but it's really sweet to be able to access all of your information from the same place. So day one, your first speaker, there's a supplemental opportunity for information there through a video that's an hour and a half long, something like that. The second speaker has a PDF that they want to deliver to people. Third speaker has an audio file, and it's really short. It's just like a little meditation or something. I'm totally picking different things, trying to be diverse here, but maybe it's a little meditation file, something like that. Fantastic. You can deliver all those things in a bot. The things that are too large, like a an hour and a half video, something like that, you do have to link out. But at the end of the day, your people are going to see, these are the links for all the supplemental materials for day one. And it's all in the same place. You can access the whole thing in the same place. It's very nice. Great delivery method. Love it. Love it. Of course, reminders of times and meeting places. When your schedule gets rocked during an event, and it will, because it's an event, that's what happens. Schedule gets rocked, you end up breaking for lunch half hour later, and so everything's going to start half hour later. You can send broadcasts that will get people into the room. Send it about 15 minutes before. And that will allow people to start at the new start time. And that is that's really a cool thing. Getting the butts in the seats, right? I mean, because that's what people came there for. They came there to learn. And so when you are sending a reminder, remember 3 things, people. Give them a reminder of what's happening. Give them a reason to be there. And if it's a live event, ignore this next one. But if it's an online event, like a summit or something like that, then do this. Provide the link. Provide a link so that it's just easy peasy getting there. Sarah says, I create confident contract users. Nice. I think adding relevant blogs, links to videos, and other resources for delegates in the chatbot would be great. It would. It absolutely would. If you are linking out to blog posts, what you can do additionally is just provide, do you know how on Medium, where it'll say, there's a title of the article, and then it will say 2-minute read, 3-minute read, something like that. I find that when people send out blog articles through the bot, more people click the link if they know how long it's going to take to read. There is a place, actually, it's called hemingwayapp.com. You can cut and paste a blog post into it, and it will tell you how long it will take an average person to read it. So if you need to know, how much time it's going to take to read this thing, you can. It's called hemingwayapp.com. I'll come back and pop it in the comments for everybody. Okay, perfect. So let's see. Oh, love idea of sending out an approximate time to read. Oh yeah. People want to know. We're all used to seeing it, right? We're all used to seeing it. We're all used to seeing it with videos because we I don't know if you do this, but I do this. I look at a video to see how long it is sometimes when I'm deciding whether to watch it or not. So sending that out with your blog posts might encourage more clicks. So very good. And Event information, just random stuff. If it's an event and people have flown and driven there and it's not their normal town, you're going to want to provide event information like where to go get lunch and get served pretty quickly, and the price range. This, just because if everybody's leaving for lunch and they've got an hour and a half and they don't want to go to the hotel because they know that the hotel is going to be very expensive, you want to provide just a list of reasonably priced alternatives for people. And so you can have them type in lunch and get a list back of lunch places. You could have people type in keywords and get back a list of things. That's really helpful for people for anytime they need to leave the conference and do stuff. What's close? Where can I go for that kind of thing? That's really, really helpful for people on the road who have come to your event from another place. Very good. Great idea about the time. Most of my blogs and vlogs are about 500 words. Oh yeah, as that is her brand, 500words.com, people. Go over there. As are the chapters in my book and my contracts. 500 words. I absolutely love it. So yeah, putting that time is really cool. Okay. Event information. Anything that people need to know about the hotel. Anything that they, if there are breakout rooms, some conferences do that. Some events do that where they have a main speaker and then they have a breakout room sessions, for an hour or whatever, giving people the ability to type in a word and get a list back of information. That's pretty easily set up through keywords. That's really, really valuable to people and helps them feel taken care of. So the final thing, the final area that's really good for business to business is it's onboarding and FAQ. So you've just signed a new client and you need to kind of get them familiar with your process and the way that you do things, how information is going to be transferred, who is going to be their point person. All kinds of things happen when you're onboarding new clients, and clients, of course, have mostly the same questions about that. So what you can do is create a little onboarding sequence for them. And maybe it's just a little 3-day sequence. Today we're going to talk about, how we communicate and the timing and the deliverables. And tomorrow we're going to talk about, payment arrangements is probably not. That's probably a topic you've already covered if they're your client already. But tomorrow we'll talk about how we, produce this and what are the time expectations of getting, whatever it is we're producing for you. You can take the questions that people ask you over and over in your onboarding process and make a 3-day or a 5-day sequence out of it. And then and give them always, if they're new to you onboarding, give them the ability to ask questions and summon you when those questions aren't of the normal variety. Super huge for people. I think about this a lot. I think about the amount of information that we're offering people at the wrong times and in the wrong places. I think about, the fact that when maps came out on our phones, remember when we used to have to use a physical paper map? Those weren't the days. For me anyway, you'd see me pulled over on the side of the road. Directions aren't my thing. Anyway, then MapQuest came out, and that was better. That was better because instead of having to look through the whole thing, now I just have this one area to look at, and then it showed you the directions in a little picture, and then you went step by step through some text directions. That was better because it gave me less information. I don't need to know how to get to 80 places right now. I just need the one, and it singled out the information that I needed, and it gave it to me on that one piece of paper. That was super cool. But then Navigation on the phone. Wow. I remember the first time I typed an address into my phone, I laid the phone on my leg, and I drove to the place. Listen, I get lost a lot. And this navigation thing. Why is that so cool? It's so cool because it gives you just the information that you need right at that right time, and it adjusts to you on your course, right? It's not giving you a wealth of information like, stopping to ask for directions. Well, you go down to the oak tree and then you take a left and then you take a sharp right and then there's a curve that you follow. And then I can't listen to anything more after that. Because now we've overloaded me with information and I can't keep track of everything that this person is seeing in their head. I'm getting too much. What bots do is it helps you just do a little single serve of information, just what you need, just right at the right time, just delivered to you right in Messenger. And that is why they're so cool. That is why bots are so cool. And so if you're a B2B, if you're selling to businesses of any size, small, medium, large, the tone of your bot might be a little bit different depending on what kind of demographic, what kind of businesses you're going for. If you deal with lawyers' offices, you're going to want to, not put a little ninja in there. You know what I'm saying? You're going to want to adapt the tone a little bit according to who you are and who you're going after and that type of relationship you're trying to create. But it's really designed to be able to give people information just right at the right time and just what they need to take that next step. So anyway, I got off on maps for a second. It's okay. I'm back now. All right. Let's read some comments. Very good. I use my GPS to go everywhere. I know. I do the same thing. My wife sometimes will be driving back from like the wings place down the way and she'll be like, do you know the shortcut to get home? I'm like, no, I know the main way, honey. I don't have room in my brain for all these things. Either I know it because I've done it a million times or the GPS has directed me. Very good. Sarah says, you'd be surprised how often we talk price, but not what info their finance teams. Oh, this is a big one. The info their finance team needs to ensure you get paid. Give info at the right time and at the right place. People are so much more likely to take action if you do it that way. If you just give them what they need instead of overloading with, a bunch of things before or a bunch of things after that they're never going to remember anyway, just give them what they need. And when you're setting these bots up, you can go through, because, you're not on a time limit when you're setting the things up. So you can think of every question that needs answered in the onboarding process. And you can think about where's the best place for that information. Day 1, day 2, day 3. How about the week later follow-up on day 8? That kind of a thing. You can schedule that. You could put your best foot forward with each of your customers each time. So I can't get over how cool the onboarding stuff is. Okay. Anyway, very good. Looking through, oh yeah. Oh, the Wi-Fi code in advance. Who doesn't need the Wi-Fi code when you're at a conference? Who doesn't need that? Or you can let people know, hey, this hotel is, there is no conference Wi-Fi. This hotel's totally going to charge you $50. Go here. You can do that too. But yeah, thinking of those things, when you think of the things that people need in advance, it just makes you appear like you're a rock star. That's exactly how you want to appear. Very good. So, looking through the question here. Sarah says, we need the next 2 steps, not the whole 145 stage process. God, right? Single serve info delivered by messenger straight to your phone. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. Getting the information that you need delivered at the right time. That's what it's about. Not more, not less. Give them an opportunity to ask questions always. When people ask questions that are from left field and you are answering them on the spot, whether you're doing that, in a real live conversation or whether you're doing that in the chatbot, please do this. Stop at the end and say, did that make sense? Or did I answer the right question? Do a thing that isn't just, I've answered your question now. Make sure they understand. That it really helps. It really helps. It helps get all of the rest of their questions out. That's what it does. But if you end and you don't provide that, hey, does that make sense? People are not they'll tend to think that they're maybe bothering you, and they'll go, oh, that last question doesn't really matter. And they'll walk away with it unanswered. So if you can get into that habit, that's a great one to get into. I have never built a bot with 145 stages. Sarcasm font. I love sarcasm font. Some of the bots that I have built, you would go blind looking at. The amount of information, the connections between the things, the keywords that trip a certain sequence off. But the beauty of it is you're never going to see that duck pedaling underwater. Pedaling? Is that what they do? You ain't going to see the bottom half of the duck swimming. You're only going to see that beautiful little head popping up, swimming along, looking cool. You're only going to see the information that you need at that time. Most of the bots that I have written to don't, give up an answer that is, I know in the beginning there were some problems with when bots just first came out. People were like, why am I getting this message? Now they've built them ManyChat, and I've learned some tricks too to make it all very smooth. So yeah. That's great stuff. You guys, I don't know how it got to be 1:52 p.m. here in Omaha. But if you have more questions, type them down there so that I can answer them for you. I hope that helps you understand a little bit better how what an awesome thing this can be. Think of a bot as a virtual communications specialist. That's what it is. I call it a virtual communications ninja because mine is a ninja. But that's the point of it, to be able to help people along with the information that they need, but just what they need and when they need it. Brad says, duck pedaling under the water. I want to see that. Yes. As do I. I need to get out of the bot cave every once in a while. Very good. Very good. Thank you for coming today, every one of you. Hey, if you never want to miss another bot signal, boop, type that word live in the comments. You will get a reminder every time right there from Spinning Dragon, who assists me with those reminders. Also, if you are wanting to learn to set up your own bot, I'm teaching a real basic class on Thursday night. And it's real basic. I'm going to teach you how to sign up for ManyChat, how to get rolling with that, how to set up your account, with some best practices. And then I'm going to teach you how to build a reminder bot, and how to also create some broadcasts that will get people's engagement. That's a pretty good class. It's 3 hours long. It's on Thursday, $97 for the whole thing. Everybody gets the recording, and it's live, so you get to ask all the questions you want. And so if you're interested in that, go to startyourbot.com. And that will tell you a little bit more about the class. If you have questions, you can always ask me. We are going to be on next Thursday, because today is Tuesday. Next Thursday, I even have a topic ahead of time. I know it's because I have Amanda now that I have a topic ahead of time. Thursday, we're going to talk about how to brand your bot. how to brand it, no matter what kind of business you're in. We're going to talk a lot about that and the specific tools I have used in building client bots and in building my own. So if you are wondering about branding, or if you just want to come and hang out in this community, come right ahead. It's 1 o'clock on Thursday. We'll be covering that topic, and that will be super awesomeness. Very good. Definitely useful live about virtual communications specialists, aka chatbots. Oh, absolutely, my friend. I hope that you got a lot out of it. I know that you've asked some questions in the past, and I'm like, I think that'd be an interesting topic. So thank you all. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of my community. And come talk to me if you've got questions. I've got answers, or I know the internet and I know how to find them. So until we chat again, then I will see you in a bot.